The Nakajima Ki-43 Hayabusa, known to the Allies as the Oscar, was one of the most iconic and widely used fighters of the Imperial Japanese Air Army, a machine that reflected both the brilliance and the limitations of Japanese aviation philosophy during the Second World War. Conceived as the successor to the earlier K-27, the K-43 was designed at the end of the 1930s around a clear requirement: to create a faster, longer-range fighter with at least modestly improved firepower, but without sacrificing the extreme maneuverability that Japanese pilots considered the foundation of air combat. This led Nakajima's engineers to adopt a lightweight structure powered by a Nakajima H-25 radial engine, clean aerodynamic lines, and innovations uncommon in earlier Army fighters, such as fully retractable landing gear, which was a significant step forward from the fixed gear of the K-27. However, the same obsession with agility led to severe compromises. The first production models of the K-43 had no self-sealing fuel tanks and no armor protection for the pilot, decisions justified by the belief that an aircraft hard to hit did not need heavy protection. This approach worked well during the early war years. When the K-43 entered combat in 1941 and 1942, it quickly demonstrated extraordinary performance against opponents in China, Burma, Malaya, and the Dutch East Indies. Its extremely tight turning radius, instant responsiveness to control inputs, light wing loading, and remarkable climb rate allowed Japanese pilots to dominate many early encounters. Allied airmen often mistook the Hayabusa for an Army version of the Mitsubishi A6M because both aircraft shared the same design philosophy of maximizing agility at the expense of defensive features. The K-43 became feared for its ability to outturn nearly any Allied fighter of the time, enabling skilled Japanese pilots to execute rapid, elegant maneuvers that gave them a decisive edge in dogfights. Yet, as the war progressed, the K-43 began to show its age. By 1943 and 1944, the Allies introduced faster, sturdier, and more heavily armed fighters like the P-40 Warhawk, P-38 Lightning, F-6F Hellcat, and P-47 Thunderbolt. These aircraft could dive faster, absorb far more damage, and deliver heavier firepower. In contrast, the lightly built K-43 was extremely vulnerable to gunfire. A single burst from a .50 caliber machine gun could ignite its unprotected fuel tanks, and its original armament, typically just two 7.7mm or later two 12.7mm machine guns, often proved insufficient to bring down robust Allied aircraft. Engineers attempted to address these weaknesses with improved variants. Later models received more powerful engines, limited armor protection, and somewhat improved armament, including the occasional installation of 20mm cannons. The K-43-2 and K-43-3 also incorporated self-sealing tanks and revised wings. Despite these upgrades, the core airframe could not match the rapid pace of aviation advancements elsewhere. Even so, the K-43 remained enormously important to Japanese air operations. It was a forgiving aircraft, easy to fly and maintain, capable of operating from rough, improvised airfields across Southeast Asia and the Pacific. Its long range made it a useful escort and patrol fighter, and its reliability ensured that it continued serving on multiple fronts, even as Japan's industrial capacity declined. By the final years of the war, the Hayabusa was hopelessly outclassed in conventional combat, yet it continued to fly in defensive missions over the Japanese homeland. As Japan faced increasing desperation, the aircraft was also used in kamikaze operations, chosen partly because it was available in large numbers and partly because its light structure allowed it to reach high speeds in diving attacks. Although it could no longer compete with modern Allied fighters, its historical impact remained significant. The K-43 was produced in large quantities, becoming one of the most numerous Japanese fighters of the entire war, and it earned a reputation as a beautifully handling machine, admired even by enemies for its grace in the air.
Ultimately, the Nakajima Ki-43 Hayabusa stands today as a symbol of early Japanese air superiority, a fighter whose agility and elegance dazzled opponents in the first half of the war, while its lack of protection revealed the vulnerabilities of Japan's design philosophy in the long run. It remains remembered not only as a remarkable aircraft in capable hands, but also as a key witness to the evolution of aerial warfare in the Pacific.